YouTube? We are back today, and I got a 2025 4-cylinder G70 in today. I'm going to do a Takeda intake. We're doing a JB4 spark plugs, so I'm gonna cover that for y'all today. Break it down. It's gonna be probably 3 different videos, but intro is all the same stuff. Alright, so our first step with this intake is going to be removing this strut bar. Not really much of a strut bar, but 14 millimeter. That's the first 2 things. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4 hoses to take loose. Adjust the camera for y'all. So, like this, and it just simply squeeze the sides of it, tab, and pull right off. This one has a black tab, squeeze there. This one is green, squeeze there, both come off. Take pliers, get those 2 off, pull them out. That slips out like that after you take the 14. Snap all 4, so you got that ready to come loose one time. Snapping it back because I'm gonna need it to stay still so I can move that. Alright, so I removed those 2 clamps. This one comes out relatively easy. Could be because the car is new, but so both are coming off pretty easy. Those out the way. So now, snap this out. Now the intake itself. Alright, get it to focus. So the intake itself, you got that clip right there. So you're gonna push that side out. Going to push that side out, so you should see that. So once you see that, that should have it loose. Okay. Let me get down up under it and pull it some more. So it took 2 hands to keep the clamp open. Just a little simple spring clamp. Alright, so you got 1 more hose up under there, which is pretty sure the OEM blow off valve. Now, it's important to note, this setup has a air to water intercooler and not a air to air. So that is what that is. Secondary water pump for it. Blow off valve right down there, which goes right into the charge pipe. Now the benefits of this system is consistent charge temps. And once you upgrade the heat exchanger, pretty sure that's what this flows to. Front heat exchanger up here to a bigger capacity, be even cooler, and it'll hold the same charge temps all day, probably below ambient all day. Very efficient. Alright, so that's the hose, just a simple spring clamp. This is the clamp mechanism. So if you reach down and pull, just pull this one out, pull there, down the middle, and it'll open up the whole clamp. So just pull there. It's on the bottom side, but it'll open it all up, and you can pull it off. All right, now next step to doing the intake, I'm gonna remove 1, 2, 3. 10mm bolts that removes the lower air box. So that get that out of the way. And the next thing will be pulling the intake setup out. The customer bought a Takeda intake, so finish getting this out. It's pretty relatively easy to install. So I'm gonna remove this and then we'll start piecing together the intake. Alright, so this is Takeda airbox, people. So I gotta take 2 grommets from the OEM, transfer that, so I'm about to do that now. These are the grommets that they're referring to. So to remove them from the OEM, just take this center metal piece, push it out, and this simply just squishes in, and you can push it out and bring it over here, squish it back in. Once it flushes out, push the center in, you're done. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is block out this hole. This is an optional hole. You can leave this open for more intake sound or close it off for a fully cold air system. I'm going to plug it for now. If the customer wants to hear it, then we can unplug it later. But for right now, I'm gonna plug it up, then I'll just pop it off later. Alright, so the next step, you'll be working with this elbow. So the black barb goes there, aluminum one goes there. Now this little aluminum cylinder goes there. So you're gonna sink that down in there. And then the next thing, we gotta remove a piece from the OEM. So we're gonna take this piece off, and this whole little thing is gonna come off. So this will allow us to remount those 2 hoses that I pulled off earlier. So that's what it looked like. Loosen, twist it, comes right out. Nothing too hard. What I don't understand is the long vent tube, but I'm not a fluid engineer, so I'll just follow them. This is a 10mm. It's a 10mm bolt head. Everything should thread in pretty easy. They don't mention anything about thread tape. Finish tightening the rest of these down, snug them in. Anyway, I'll be back. Alright, so this is tightened in. That's a quick reference. If you count the barbs on this, it'll be 4 on the aluminum. You go to the side one, and then this one has 5 barbs on it. That'll be that one. The space between is normal per instructions, so don't go crazy trying to tighten it down and sink it all the way down. And I actually think this has a bit of a taper to it, so as it goes farther and farther down, it gets bigger and bigger. So you never get it tightened down. You'll rip that out of the plastic before you get that tightened down. So that's all for here. So yours don't look like this, so you gotta confuse. You got a way to count, and you got visual reference. I know reading instructions sometimes get a little hard to understand, but for me, I've been doing it so long that I understand how companies write it. So I just put it in video form for y'all. Also to note, in the instructions it says it's 8, but it's really a 10mm here, like I mentioned earlier. And these are both. You can tighten them using a 17mm, but they're actually 16mm. But for the people who may not have that odd wrench, I can't think of a use for a 16 besides this. A 17 will work once the seam is about to slip on your 17. That's enough torque on it. All right, so next step, get your coupling. I'm probably gonna position it where the screws are on that side. Seems like they'll be easy to reach. Slide it onto the turbo intake. Probably don't tighten it just yet till you get everything in. and you snug up your fit. Just a good way to keep you from having to loosen and tighten. Leave it in there pretty snug, but leave yourself some wiggle room. Also, an important note that I want to point out when putting this on: don't stop here. Slide it all the way up to here, on top of this, and tighten it down there. That's the reason why you see that extension right there. So slot that over that and then tighten down there. Leave it snug there. Not here, because it's actually pretty loose in this area. So you want to slide it all the way back. Alright, so that's how it should look. The first rib right there pretty much lines right up with the front of the turbo. With the light just right, you can see the turbo fans right down there. See, it looks good and healthy. So next step is putting the box in next. Also, part I did not mention, the extension right here, you have to remove that also. I almost forgot. You have to remove that with the factory box. This little piece right here, so you remove that also. Pretty sure Takeda probably reuses the gasket, but I'll double check and make sure it fits. Alright, so I got the box slotted in. You should be able to look. Pretty much look. Let me show you. So the intake plug popped it back out, so you should be able to kind of look, see that hole lines up. Then you can turn around and see that this one lines up also from the inside. So plug is pretty easy to get to, so you can leave it out, hear how it sounds, put it back in, whichever. But for now, it's back out for the installation process, and maybe back in depending on how it sounds. Also, you will be reusing 2 of the 3 screws that held on the box. Probably I'm gonna leave that unused screw inside the OEM intake, so we'll have it in case we want to convert back to factory also. Alright, so y'all, what I did to tighten that up was use a 10mm ratchet wrench to tighten that one and that one. The reason I went ratchet wrench, because that one back there, man, I don't think you can get, you don't have the space. Turn. Yeah, you just don't have the space. So they made a little indentation, but no space. And it's the worst one to kind of get started. But once you get it started, you may have to push on the box a little to help get it lined up so you can get it started. That one should be pretty easy. Snug it down, keep it tight. That keeps it simple. There was no room that I seen that you could put the rubber there. That's supposed to line up, but I don't see how. Maybe I just can't see the hole there. Trying to show y'all. Yeah, I believe it does line up. But so I'm about to bolt that in there. I may not, because there's really no need. It's pretty secure with just those 2. So I'll double check the instructions for y'all, but I don't remember reading anything about it. All right, next step is actually installing the filter. See those little notches? So you're gonna push it into this butt up against that. Just like that. Should be flat, no gap. Look through there, see the condition of the filter. That hole that I mentioned, still got a filter element. just to provide sound. You still got your cold air coming in now, which will be the majority. Even though that hole is right on the outside by the turbo, so if you do pull, it's gonna pull hot air there for sound, but maybe the performance level is negligible. Who knows? This is the clamp for this. So I'm going to place it there so it's all pouring up. It's pouring up. Next thing to do, Takeda wants you to insert it there to the turbo pipe first. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and handle my blow off valve first, and then insert it there. About tightening this down, and I'll finish up the install. Alright, just a little note. So after I installed this, left everything snug, when it came time to tighten down that coupler on the turbo, it wanted to slide up. So go ahead and tighten one to the turbo after you get it set all the way back on there, because putting this would kind of misposition it. So now I'm finna go back in with this. Then I'm gonna hold this to there so this butts up against the filter pretty nice. This part pretty easy to keep in place. Snug fit. That's the only thing that I noticed after I got everything together and started tightening it down. And I'm done, y'all. Probably took me 30 minutes because I was filming and going through everything. But it's done. All I got left to put back is the strut bar and pick up my tools, and I'm on to the next thing. Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all again on the next video.